way to do it. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into the Arizona Rattlers Coaches Show with Kevin Guy. Hi, everybody. I'm Floyd Simmons, and let's just jump right into it with a guy that has led his IFL football team to an impressive start. 5-0 is the record right now for the Arizona Rattlers. 5 impressive victories, including this past Friday night when the Rattlers at home in front of Rattler Nation were able to put together a 66-33 victory over the San Diego Strike Force. Folks, welcome in, and Head Coach Kevin Guy, there you are. Welcome to your show. How you doing?
Doing great, Floyd. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I was mentioning beforehand, I got a little dental work done just a while ago, but thank goodness there were no shots involved. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to run some routes. I'm ready to haul some passes in. So let's get this let's get this going.
Let's get it going.
Coach, welcome. Big win on Friday night. The San Diego Strike Force are a team that have some pretty good pieces out there. They've got some talent. They're led by a young quarterback who's getting to know and getting a feel for this league, Steve Cluley. He had some good moments on that night, but overall, it was time for the Rattlers to shine, and your team did. You scored the second most points you have this season with 66, and your defense, though it gave up more than you have all season, still held them to only 33. In a lot of ways, it seemed to me like broadcasting the game, looking at the game, observing the game, there was a lot for the Rattlers to be proud of in the victory on Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, you always want to enjoy the wins. You don't ever want to undermine a win. You know, there's obviously a lot of little things that we got to get better at. I was disappointed in our execution the first half, even though we scored on every possession except for that one at the end where we had just a few seconds situational football. Even though we scored, we had to work for everything that we did, and we didn't take the easy plays, right? We made it difficult, and our completion percentage wasn't very good. I thought defensively in the first half, I thought we played outstanding. You know, we put them in a bad spot when we tried to keep our foot on the gas pedal, an onside kick there, and keep the momentum going. We didn't get the onside kick, and again, another play that we didn't execute and gave our defense a short field, and they got an easy 7 right there, in the second quarter. But, overall, I thought our defense played outstanding in the first half. Now, offensively, I thought we came out and was much more efficient in the second half than we were in the first half. And then I thought our defense was not as efficient. We were kind of moving some personnel around, trying to get guys some reps. Because you never know down the road when teams start to get injuries, you got to have guys ready to play. So when we get into these games where we got these big leads, we try to move some guys around and get them some reps at different positions, and that's just how the game came out. But overall, I'm pleased. I'm pleased where we're at 5-0. But we are on a bye week this week. We get into the meat of our schedule coming out of the bye week. And we're going to find out who's who over the next 3 to 4 games, in this league. So I believe we played Frisco twice during that 4-week span. We have Tucson, who's number 2 in scoring in the offense right now. I mean, in the league in the offense, and then Massachusetts, and so who's the reigning champ. So we'll find out who we are, and but I like where we're at going into the bye week. I like that we kept the momentum going into the bye week, but we'll see how we come out of the bye week, and that's going to be important.
Coach Guy, about your defense on Friday, and again, there are those things. Maybe you look you're the head coach. You look deeper at issues than we do. We see the highlights, and we love the highlights. And there were some highlights. The Kyrie Woods interception early on in the game. Impressive. The way he drew down on the football and took it away. I want to ask you about that, his play overall, which has been stellar, and ask you as well about a moment, I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, early second half, when your defense was facing a 2-point try by the Strike Force. They tried on the first opportunity, couldn't get the ball in, but a penalty moved the ball half the distance, and they tried it again from the 1.5 yard line and still couldn't get it in. Then another penalty by your defense. Put the ball at the 3/4 of a yard line, another half the distance, and a third try for them to cash in a 2-point try, and your defense was up to the task. And there was, I think it was Kyrie Woods on that play as well. Coming up, he got to the edge. He was playing downhill all the way, and he made the tackle in the backfield. If you remember that moment, you probably remember it more vividly than I just described. So can we speak to some of the successes and highlights that your defense provided on Friday night?
Yeah, I believe you're talking about where they tried to run the speed option to the boundary, to the short side of the field on us, down in the goal line area on that 2-point play. And, my gut just told me before the play that they were going to try to attack us weak. So we moved to our Thunder and Lightning and, package, which moved our boundary corner to the moved our backside corner back to the boundary versus trips. So if you got trips on the right-hand side, which they had, normally he would line up, 3-on-3 with the trips, and we got 2 linebackers in the box. But when I went to the Thunder Lightning package, he jumped to the boundary, and it gave us one more man that they had to worry about, and they went speedo like I thought they would, and Kyrie made a play, and our defense has been pretty good this year, outstanding. I mean, better than any defense that we've had in the past, just playing together. But I saw some signs last weekend of guys not doing their job. And one of the things we talk about around here is everybody's got a job to do, right? Focus on what you have control over. And we just had here and there when you look at their points, do they actually score, or was it because we busted a defense that didn't do our assignment? So we're going to have those conversations when we get back for the bye week. I'm going to let them enjoy the bye week. And then when they get back, I'm going to point these things out to them. But we got to, for whatever reason, and it's human nature. You get up big in a game, teams tend to relax and not pay attention to detail as much. And, that will be reinforced when they come back from the bye week. But, whether you win a game or lose a game, you should watch the film the same way when you're making corrections, okay? And we need to make sure that we're paying attention to detail and clean up these mistakes. And I, as a coach, I'm glad they happen because it gives me something to continue to stress, get the point across, teach. And, if we were just doing everything perfect, then, they wouldn't need any coaches around here. So certainly, but I would rather them make those mistakes and we win than make those mistakes and we lose. But if we keep making those mistakes, it will lead to a loss at some point, and we need to make sure that we get our discipline cleaned up.
Coach Guy, offensive side of the football, some pretty good highlights over there. I'm going to begin with two words, and you tell me what your initial thoughts are when I say Shannon Brooks.
My initial thoughts? Tough. He's been consistent. Very good blocker, from a protection standpoint, but also a good runner. And that's rare that you find both combinations. But also got good hands out of the backfield, can catch. So, he's got a lot of different skill sets that we like. And, he's a great kid. And I've loved coaching every second that he's been here. He's bought in. He wants to be good. So he's been a good fit. He's a rattler.
Part of being a Rattler is even if you're a guy that scores 5 touchdowns on a given night and rushes for 100 yards, you still do all the other things you're called on to do, including play special teams. And he's out there, running down the field in coverage. And by the way, Braxton Haley as well. Braxton with a great touchdown pass in that second half for the team. And those two guys, contributing in all the ways that you require them to, but not just fill in a spot, not just out there, but actually playing hard. And I thought for a receiver, if I can turn it to Braxton for a second, there was a moment when he ripped the ball out on special teams on your kick coverage team. Rips it out, forces the turnover, fumble recovered by Ernesto Lacayo. He was able to make that recovery for your team. But Braxton coming down and making that kind of play. Listen, wide receivers aren't supposed to do that, Coach. I just thought it was a great example of what you're talking about. That is the kind of play that you expect out of your Arizona Rattlers.
Well, we do. And one of the things that we talk about to our team is their draft day has came and gone. Okay, there is no second draft day, right? So these guys are here. It's an opportunity league. It's a league of opportunity. It's an opportunity for them to come in, to play against quality opponents, athletes, get film, continue to develop, and if they get picked up, and these guys are here to try to advance their career, and they get picked up by the NFL, they're not bringing them in as a first or second round draft pick, and they got guaranteed money. They're going to be at the bottom of the roster. They're going to have to play special teams. And one of the things I try to stress to them all the time, your special teams film should be better than anything you do offensively or defensively, right? Because that's where you're going to fit on an NFL roster if that's your goal of trying to advance your career, which that's why we want them here. That's the kind of guys we want to bring in. It's part of our culture of guys that are hungry, that are trying to advance their careers. So, so we really, Coach Jernigan, coaches our special teams here. We're very, you can't coach effort. We need to see, efforts on the player, but, we feel good about our schemes. We feel good about, the position that we put them in. And Coach Jernigan does an outstanding job of that with our special teams. But that's part of our culture. You have to buy into special teams to play here. And, if you notice, we got a 25-man roster, 21 game day roster. So there's 8 starters on offense, 8 starters on defense. That's 16. Then you got a backup quarterback and a kicker. Now you're at 18. So you only have 3 subs. So everybody here has to contribute to special teams. There is no tapping out here. We don't have a tap out policy here. And if you do tap out, we're probably replacing you. You have to gut your way through it. And, there's a mental and physical toughness that we require to be a Rattler, and our guys buy in. And I tell them, if you can work here in this environment and the stress that we're going to put you under, you can work anywhere in America. And that's the truth. And, we push our guys. We're going to squeeze every ounce of juice we can out of them. And, because we wouldn't be doing our job as coaches if we weren't putting them in that situation and helping them try to advance their career. And that's our job. I mean, I don't want to coach any of these guys next year. I hope they all get an opportunity to move up and move on. But, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But, that's what they're here for. Special teams is part of the deal.
Well, Rattler Nation, this is the Arizona Rattlers Coaches Show with head coach Kevin Guy. Coach, can I talk about your offensive line for a moment and specifically dwell on the efforts of Lamar Mady? Position change a couple of weeks ago, and he's taking it like a champ. He's the guy snapping the ball for you now. I've got to believe, I've never played offensive line. I don't know much about what happens in the trenches. I never wanted to know when I played my high school football, okay? I'll stay back in the defensive backfield and I'll stay out at wide receiver, right? But I've got to believe that there is a completely different approach that's taken when you're playing center versus playing guard. And Lamar has moved over for you out of necessity and done what seems to be a great job, taking on that challenge.
He has, and I can honestly say that Lamar Mady has been a great player for the Arizona Rattlers through his years. And one day when we were talking in my office, I said to him, "Hey, you've been a good player here, for our organization." And he's like, "Coach, I've been a great player," and I heard him, and he has.
No doubt.
Right. I misspoke. I misspoke on the words I use. He has been a great player for us, consistent, reliable, durable. And that's what he's been for the Arizona Rattlers. And he's played at an all league level every year he's been here. But, I actually forgot that when we signed him from the Raiders, when he got released by the Raiders, the Raiders were using him as a center, and he's been playing guard for so long for us now that I forgot that he was originally a center. And, after we played Duke City, we needed to shore up our midline on protection. It just, the the center, the running back, we're blocking at two different levels. Things weren't tight. And we got a lot of new offensive linemen in here this year, and sometimes it takes them 5-6 weeks before they start gelling. And so we made the decision to move Mady down the center. And it's like he hasn't missed a beat. He's been solid. I mean, obviously, with any player, there's always a few plays here and there you want back, or some little things you got to get better at. But he's been solid, and our snaps have been solid. Knock on wood. So he gave us an opportunity to play another young offensive lineman in JJ, and JJ's been doing a pretty good job so far. We need to keep building him. Kenny Thomas has been solid. So, the development of our offensive line and the productivity has been there. There's just, again, as we go through the season, every week we're looking for progress and looking for them to get a little tighter, a little smoother, right? And obviously, I think Shannon Brooks coming in and tightening things up, because I said earlier he's a great protector. Kind of shored some things up for us. So pretty pleased. Coach Connie Kawhi, who's been with me every year I've been here at the Rattlers, has done an outstanding job with those, with those guys. And we're going to meet. I mean, there's some areas I think we can get better. I'm going to meet with the coaches when they get back in town. A lot of guys it's bye week. I told them it's active rest, get out of here, mental health, right? Go get a break from football, come back. As soon as I hang up with this call from you, brother, I'm headed to Mexico for a couple of days. And so,
thanks for the invite, Coach.
Yeah, well,
which never came.
But I need to get away from you too. Okay, so I'm going to go to Mexico, and I promise you, I'm going to have a hell of a time.
Man, I've heard those words from my wife more than I can tell you. Okay, so Todd Aphey, a couple of hardworking touchdown catches for him in the game. There was a couple of times he got into the end zone, and he earned his way into the end zone, fighting through tackles and traffic out there. Again, it speaks to the toughness that you've got to have. Really, you've got to have toughness to play in the league, no matter where you are. But it's a premium here in Arizona, and I thought that Todd he showed a lot of true grit there on the outside.
I think Todd can be as good as he wants to be. He's new in this offense, so his mind, kind of flips back and forth sometimes. I don't know if he's thinking about old offenses or just hasn't learned completely the little things in our offense. But he's getting better week to week. But he is a talent, and he's a big body guy. Got great vertical, as you saw in the 2-point play when he went up and went over the wall to catch that ball. Very athletic, strong hands. So I think he's going to make a lot of big plays for us this year. He's a great human being. First of all, he's been great to work with. He buys that. And I challenged him at halftime the other night, because there was a few plays where he got the motions messed up, and it's just little things. But it was for effect. Okay, it was for effect. I needed to get his attention because it was starting to happen a little too much, and we needed to get that cleaned up. But he responded. He responded. He came out and played well. In the second half, I believe, you saw him catch that screen and make a move, run for a touchdown. He had earlier in the game, he had a dig that he caught and just overpowered a couple of defensive backs into the end zone. So he has big play capability, just like a lot of our receivers do. But he's a new addition this year, and I like my little toys that I get to play with.
Coach, let me ask you, and you can give me a no comment if you want right here, but how much work in this 2 weeks of a bye week and some extra work maybe that you get if you're not in Mexico? How much work is going to be put in the place kicking game? Seems to be a little bit of an issue.
Well, me and my special teams coordinator is going to have a couple of conversations down in Mexico. Okay, so we're gonna have a couple of conversations, and we're gonna come out on the same page when we come back from Mexico. Okay, there's definitely, I mean, it's not up to our standard, just how our whole operations has worked, and we lost some pieces during the off season. We got a new snapper, new holder, same kicker in Lacayo, but When those pieces get moved around a little bit, sometimes you can get uncomfortable. But the message is you better get comfortable being uncomfortable, and we got to figure this out. I mean, these guys are professional athletes. They need to get a little bit more knee bend, get their butt down, get the snap back there, get the hold. That holding position is a pressure position, and you don't see a lot of players want to go out for that position because there's a lot of pressure on that position. You see a lot of players try to avoid being a holder because they don't want that job. And I keep telling them every year, some of you will make this team because you can hold on extra points. So I encourage them all to try it and try to get comfortable with it. But we got to get that cleaned up. There's no doubt. And this is certainly not solely on the players playing the position and our coach Jernigan. It falls at my feet because I'm the one in charge. So I got to take accountability in it, and we're going to get it fixed. I promise you that.
Coach Guy, before we go, let me just ask you a broad question about the IFL in 2022. As you look at the landscape out there, obviously there's a couple of challenges. There's some people standing in the way of everybody else's quest for a championship trophy in the United Bowl coming up at the end of the year. But I don't know, do you have any general thoughts about how it's going in 2022? What are your thoughts about the league?
Well, I think the league is strong as it's ever been. I think we're doing some really good things. We got some announcements that are coming out over the next few weeks. I think that you're going to see the fans league-wide be very, very happy about. So, I'm super excited about the direction of our league, the leadership that we have in this league. We're only getting stronger. Stronger ownership groups are starting to come into our league. So, I think that's important. When I look around from a competitive standpoint, there's a lot of teams out there, that are trying to climb that mountain, right? They're trying to climb that mountain and be the guy. But make no mistake about it, buddy, we are the mountain, okay? And one way or another, the Arizona Rattlers will be there in the end, and we will get it figured out. We're 5-0 right now. I like where we're at, and we're going to give the guys some rest for a few days, and we've also spent this week working. I've already broke down our next opponent and put some ideas together, and I'm sure I'm going to come up with some more ideas while I'm sitting down in Mexico, right? So. But we will be prepared. We will be ready to play. I like where we're at as a league. I do. I like the personalities that we have in this league. It's been a fun league to be a part of, and I think the sky's the limit. I think where we're trying to go, we're like any business. We're going to have bumps in the road. That happens in any business, but the important thing is to learn from it, correct it. Let's move forward as a league. Just go back and look at the history of the NFL when they first started. If you go back and read up on, how many issues they went through to get to where they are today. So we're continuing to grow, and this is the first league I've been a part of where we're actually learning from our mistakes and putting steps in place to address it as we move forward. So very, very excited. I think you look around the league, the presentation is been a lot stronger this year, and it's something that we wanted to address as ownership groups, during the off season. And, we got one heck of an owner here at the Rattlers and Ron Schertz. This guy is unbelievable. He gives us everything we need to be good at what we do. And he doesn't have us beating our heads against the wall to make it work. And just outstanding leadership from him as well. So it's been fun. I've enjoyed the ride, and, we want to keep swinging the bat and keep building.
Well, Ron Schertz and the entire organization do set the standard in the league. There's no question about that in my mind. We got one more coaches show between now and your next matchup with Frisco on the road in Texas. So we'll get a chance to cover that matchup next week. We'll talk more in depth about the fighters and what you're looking at and what you expect from them. So we'll get to that then. Let's wrap up the show with a little bit of let's get to know your Kevin Guy. Okay. So we'll do that a little bit. Now I had a question I'm going to save for next week. Okay. Something about your athletic pursuits maybe. So we'll do that next week. But since you're going to Mexico, the simple question in getting to know your Kevin Guy is this: Coach, how many gallons of tequila are we expecting the good coach Kevin Guy to consume between now and your return from Mexico? What's that looking like?
Whew. Well, I don't know. You put me on the spot there, but it's going to be tested. I can tell you that it's going to be tested. We'll see if they got enough. Okay, but I like my seafood. Okay, I like my margaritas. Okay. So, I need a couple of days. To be frank with you, because of COVID and my son's schedule from school and athleticism. Normally in the past, because of when our season is, our family's never been able to do spring break. Okay, because our season's in play, so it's always been tough to get away. And usually Kathy and the kids would go do a vacation without me. Okay, so we always went somewhere in the fall. And now that my son's getting into the high school level, now his sports are rolling through the fall break. And so now there's no opportunity in spring. There's no opportunity in the fall. I got to go home and see my family for Christmas, but sometimes that's not a vacation. That can be stressful sometimes. So for me, it's been 2 years. It's been 2 years through COVID and having to go through the changes that our organization went through during that time. So I definitely need a few days, and I'm going to take a few days. But I always got my phone on me. You're never off. If I can get emails, and I'll have my laptop with me and be able to watch film and take emails and respond to people and whatever. But it'll be on the beach by the water with that margarita in my hand.
Hey, listen, a much-deserved break and a great start to the season. 5-0 after the win on Friday night over San Diego. 2 weeks hence, or a couple of weeks hence anyway, a meeting with the Frisco Fighters. We'll talk more about that next week. Coach, have a great time. Enjoy the trip. I hope that you, Kathy, Cody, and a family have an awesome time in Mexico.
Oh, they're not going. They're not going.
I'm not going.
They have.
They're not going.
No, they have. Kathy's got to worry about Tucson and.
This is you.
This is me, brother.
All right.
I'm rolling. I'm going. I know how to have a good time with me.
Well, it changes the complexion entirely. I can't wait to hear these stories when you make the return.
It's a lot of fun to hang out with KG. That's all I can tell you.
All right. No doubt about it. Have an awesome time, Coach. We'll see you in about a week, okay?
Appreciate you, Floyd. Thanks.
All right, folks. This is the Arizona Rattlers Coaches Show. Kevin Guy there. I'm Floyd Simmons, and we will see you next time on the program. Have an awesome day, everybody.
Our guys figured out a way to do it.